おっす、おいら大進っていうことで、前編の動画の続きになります。今回もアメリカ人とニュージーランド人の地獄の働き方について聞いてきました。それでは見ていきましょう。
Like, is there a movement to emphasize work style reform and like a work-life balance in your country?
Not really. I don't think so. I mean, there's kind of individual, like, a lot of people who work like really high pressure jobs might make like problems out of it. I think every once in a while there's a famous case of like, at least like in finance, where like an investment banker dies because they were overworked, and then there's like some brief, like, we need to regulate companies to make sure they can't work people for 100 hours a week. But overall, like, it's very very individualistic. That when there's like 100 people for every role that needs to get filled, people won't care about the hours for those kind of jobs, and it's hard to make a communal movement to cut down on working hours when the next person would definitely take the job anyways. So that there's no leverage for people to do so.
I will say there has been a rise of like strikes amongst worker unions recently. For example, in the there's an actors union, the actors and actresses, they went on strike for like a month, as well as a lot of like FedEx or Amazon, shipping companies, right? The delivery drivers.
Yeah.
Also, I think a couple months ago even, they had like a huge strike as well as railway workers recently. So there's not a lot of them, but I think at least within the upcoming years, there'll be more and more. So in that case, there is, but it's not super widespread as of yet. But I think it will come up kind of soon. So.
What do you think about Japan's work style? For example, long working hours, like a seniority, or like drinking parties. So after working, it's really common in Japan. Do you know it? Yeah. So what do you think about this? So like, what do you think is good or what needs to be improved compared to your home country?
Obviously, we can't both say too much about like what we think of Japanese working hours because we haven't really worked it, right? But from what I can tell from the outside, I think it is really long. And I want to say, like I study in the Netherlands, and my professors there, I asked them why they work in the Netherlands, and they say the work-life balance in the Netherlands is really, really good. Right? So the Netherlands will give you like a month, 2 months for break, for vacation, right?
Really?
The hours aren't that long. As a professor, you can kind of choose when you work as well. Like if, let's say, one day you don't feel like working, you can just not show up, and that's okay, right? And so when I hear that, it makes me think that, yeah, I think I would want a really good work-life balance, and so I wouldn't really want to work, super long hours. I think the drinking after working, that does sound fun.
Yeah.
I want to partake in that, but yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's a really hard question. Very different cultures. Obviously, something that I haven't experienced myself. Yeah, I guess I'm really not in a position to make a comment.
So like, do you have like drinking parties like that culture in America?
Yeah,
like,
no, like in the U.S., if your boss invites you out drinking, like no one's gonna fault you if you like show up for like half an hour, have a beer, like shake some hands and go home. I think my understanding is that here it's like much more ingrained in the kind of the corporate social culture.
Yeah.
Like, you'll be out for like hours and hours. Like after work, I just want to go to sleep.
Do you have to go to the drinking party?
Yeah, we have to. Like,
really?
Like a special.
Yeah, it's special.
But after COVID, it's like getting done like less and less.
Really?
Yeah.
I think, my job that I work at IKEA, just like a furniture store.
Okay.
We have like drinking parties, but it's just amongst the coworkers. It's not like with the boss. It's not with like superiors. It's just amongst like kind of like my friends in the job, and that's it. So.
Even though like that party is not fun for them, but the boss say like that pressure make us we have to go like that. And like many people are really worried about it, but of course we have to waste our money.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's not fun.
Yeah.
It's not effective. Like yeah.
That's crazy.
And like another form of unpaid overtime. Like, that's time. Like, is everyone having fun when you're exhausted and you just want to get home?
Yeah.
No, you just want to go home. So
Yeah.
I guess that's not a good thing actually. Never mind.
Movement to like emphasize work style reform and like work-life balance in your country.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's New Zealand.
Yeah, New Zealand.
Okay.
We don't like to work too hard.
Yeah.
There's a bit of a movement for a 4-day working week. A lot of places are doing it. I've heard of places that you might work an extra hour a day, and then every couple of weeks you take a day off. So you still work the same hours, but that way you can take like a 4-day work week, 3 days off. There is a bit of a movement for that.
And it depends on where you live. If you're on a coastal town, most people will use their lunch break to go surfing. So they might do like earlier starts, big lunch break to go surfing, and then finish a little later. They're still doing 8 hours, but like they're trying to make it work with their lifestyle. Plus also there's a lot more working from home now, which helps like people with young children or that kind of thing to do both. Yeah.
What do you think about Japan's work style? For example, like long working hours, like a seniority, like a drinking party after working. So, yeah, what do you think? Yeah, so compare with your country. So, what do you think about this?
ちょっと大変そうですね。
Just like,
I think.
yeah, okay. So, for example, my father, so he works from 9 a.m., but he come back to my home. Our home like around 10 or 11 p.m. It's common, most of people, yeah.
Yeah, I think the long hours seem quite hard here. And then a lot of the time, even after work, you're with your workmates again.
Yeah.
Whereas in New Zealand, we actually tend to go stay with our friends and our family and not spend too much time with our workmates.
It tends to be a once a week type thing. A lot of places will say if you work a Monday through Friday, people might go out on the Friday and they might spend a couple of hours out with workmates or with friends, but the other nights, that's typically
And a lot of people are so strict on like 9 to 5 p.m.
Mm.
and not working overtime and like definitely not weekends. And yeah.
Yeah, for example, if like a younger person, so when even they finish their work, their task, but still like the both working, so they can't go back home. Like we have to care.
no, we'll walk out.
Like pressure, yeah.
Yeah. No, you can go home anytime.
Yeah.
Also, people start at different times too. So I see my boss leave at 3 p.m. sometimes because he starts at 7 a.m. and then I'll leave at 4:30 p.m. shortly after, or vice versa. Like just depends and yeah.
So like, do you have any complaints about your workplace? No, like.
Not really. Not
Not
really.
my old one. I'm starting a new one. My old workplace, I had complaints, so I left. And that's where I had a big difference between the boss and the work members. But I'm going into a new workplace now, so I guess I'll find out.
Yeah, I think at my workplace I've only worked for 2 years now. So I'm quite new and it's my first job out of university. But everyone really respected me straight away and like listened to what I said and taught me how to think better. So I think even from the very beginning you feel very useful to the company, which is nice. But yeah, also they tell you to go home. Like everyone told me to come to Japan. Like, you need a break.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So okay, thank you for a great talking. Yeah, ありがとうございます。Thank you. How often do you go to Disneyland in California?
Oh, it was one of those things I think like a lot of us used to go a lot more as kids. Prices went up, but yeah, no. If you're local in Orange County, it's something that you go maybe once or twice a year. I think a lot.
Okay.
Of people do.
And even for we went to the same high school. And for our high school, at the end of the year, they all took us and bought tickets for Disneyland as well. So, I think so. Yeah.
If you don't mind, how old are you now?
I think we're about 20.
We're about 20.
20. Oh, okay, same.
Really?
I'm also Okay, so how did you change about Japan image, like before and after?
Yeah, honestly, it's pretty much what I expected. Which is weird. I mean, yeah, I watched like a bunch of YouTube videos and like kind of tried to get like an understanding of like what it like. I think there's anything here that like super surprised me.
I think I was very surprised by a lot of things. For example, this might be very like stereotypical, but like, I would watch anime, right?
Oh, you like anime?
Yeah, and like I would see, especially the clothes they wear and stuff, or the way they act, right? I thought in my head it was like, it's just like an over exaggeration though. But here I noticed, at least in clothing, it's actually very similar to how it is anime. Which I was like, I just thought it was just in like the shows, but not actually in real life, right? And then the city is way more. Yeah, I guess being here, it's way bigger than I guess I would have anticipated in my head. So honestly, I was completely surprised when I first arrived here. So, yeah.
Is that first time to visit in Japan?
No.
Third?
My third trip.
Really?
Love the place. Gotta keep coming back.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about you?
I think, is it my third as well?
You might be on 4.
Fourth time? I used to live here.
How many times have you ever been to Tokyo here?
third main spot.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Like-
Just
Why do you travel to Japan like many times? What is that like attractive point?
the times for the snow.
Ah,
Hokkaido.
skiing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
snowboarding.
Wow, nice. So you go to Niseko or
Yes.
Yeah.
wow?
いや、ほんと海外の働き方憧れますよね。今回の動画が面白いと思った人は、ぜひ、チャンネル登録、高評価お願いします。また次回も世界中のリアルな声をお届けしますので、希望する企画を、コメントしておいてください。それでは、チャオ